Yeah, let me start there. I'm going live on Facebook and I'm recording it. So I'm Rayanna Starr, and we're in my group, Empowering Women Entrepreneurs to Succeed in Business. And Kathy took me up on my offer to schedule a connection call and just to get to know each other when she joined the group. And I love it when you take me up on that, ladies, because I want this group to be a group where we're actually getting to know each other and interacting and building relationships. And Kath, we just clicked immediately. We just our energy, everything. And I was fascinated by what Kathy's passion and purpose is, and it's based on her own experience. And don't we always prefer to work with people that have felt our pain, had our problem, or needed what we need, and they found it through their own experience? And so Kathy, her unique niche is to work with women like me and you, high-powered entrepreneurs that need a lot of energy to fulfill our mission and achieve our goals, and being able to produce that energy in a healthy way in our bodies, not going to stimulants and drugs and processed stuff, but doing it from deriving that energy from Mother Nature and a plant-based diet. And so without further ado, I want Kathy to tell her story, and the way this talk is going to go, and I'll see if anybody's joining us live in a minute. I'll track all that, Kathy, is please let us know you're watching, because I'm always experimenting in this group, and the things that get engagement are the things we're going to keep doing. So we'll try things and then we'll stop doing them if we're not getting a lot of engagement. But if we are getting engagement and a few people are just commenting and saying, oh my God, this is so great, and you're letting us know what you're getting from it, we can give you more of that. So I want Kathy's going to introduce herself, tell her story of pain to passion and purpose. Then she's going to do a little bit of educating. She's going to talk about what she does and for who and why. And then she'll leave us with her rooftop message, her advice. So Kathy Allen Davis, or Kathy Davis Allen, is that a which way?
Kathy Allen Davis.
Kathy Allen Davis. Tell us a little bit about you and your journey to get here.
Thank you, Rayanna. I'm so excited to be here. So my name's Kathy Davis. I am an international CEO of Veg Inspired and the founder. I'm a 3-time cookbook author, and I'm a plant-based lifestyle and mindset coach. And I'll start with a quick backstory. So I've been eating and creating plant-based meals for more than 7 years. My husband brought up the idea, and I was pretty resistant to eating more plants. Like, we all know how healthy plants are, but let's be real. When you feel like you have to give something up, you put the brakes on, you freak out. Well, it took me about 6 months to learn that eating more plants wasn't what I thought it was going to be. That was about 7.5 years ago. 2 years ago, I really started to see the difference between vegan and whole food plant-based. And I say that to all of you because a lot of people will say, oh, well, that's vegan diet. Vegan diet's healthy. Vegan eating's healthy. But vegan can be just as processed as standard American food. And so 2 years ago, I shifted my daily eating habits, the day in and the day out habits, the things I do every day, not those once in a while things, to follow a whole, clean food, plant-based lifestyle. And this is what I want you to tune into. So if you're watching Team Live, I would love you to just comment hashtag Team Live in here. And then that will allow us to know, as Rayanna said, like, you're in it, you want to be here. So give me a Team Live, but I want to know, or I want to share the results I got from changing what I was eating and what that led to me. 10x energy, newfound sense of joy, weight loss and weight management. I cured the symptoms of prediabetes. I have a healthier mind, more cognitive abilities, more productive. And with that renewed energy, I was able to expand my business internationally. Give me a hands up if you'd like to do that. I was able to author not one, not two, but 3 cookbooks back to back over the last year and a half. And I now offer transformational support to others on this journey. And what I found was there are so many of us, you and me, we're hustling, we're working hard. The day gets by, we skip lunch, we don't eat breakfast. You all like, I am dedicated. I've dedicated my mission. My mission is to empower other people just like me to leverage the power of food, eating more plants, not going vegan,
Food
not
is
going
fuel.
plant-based. Yes, food is fuel. Not going plant-based, not going vegan, but just eating more plants so that you can fuel your dreams, show up at that optimum performance in your personal and professional lives, really, really take power. And so, you know, I always tell people I'm a busy entrepreneur. I'm a full-time traveler. My husband and I sold our house to travel the United States in an RV. So we are always traveling. I'm a wife. I'm a cat mom. I'm a home cook. I'm a cookbook author. I'm a coach. Like my plate, ha ha ha, is literally full. And I teach people how to fit plant foods into their already over busy
All right,
life.
pause there. Listen to everything she's got going on in her life. She's on the road. How long have you guys been on the road doing the RV thing?
We've been on the road for 3 years. We sold our
Oh
house
my
in
God. Wow.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I've had a lot of friends who have done that and are doing it, that are doing the RV lifestyle. And I think it is so cool. I don't know if I could do it for that long. I think of myself doing in 1 to 3 month spurts, but think about this. A lot of people don't want to, they think that I have friends, they're lazy about preparing food. They think it's a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. But when you're committed to eating healthy and being healthy, you have to prepare food. And it isn't a big deal. Most meals can be prepared. Even big, huge meals can be prepared in 30 minutes or less. And when you're on the road and you're living small, like in an RV, that is even more of a challenge when you're more mobile or tiny house living like Kathy is, and you're on the road. And so, Kathy, talk about that. Talk about the convenience. Remove one of the barriers that people might have who are in a habit of just grabbing and go and stuff in their face, and talk about what that kind of eating does, the inflammation, all of that. Talk about that, and then talk about in your own experience, some of the things like you've whizzed through some of them, but the weight loss, the feeling better, the energy, talk a little more about that from your own point of view of what you noticed, like it didn't happen all at once. What was the journey like for you?
Absolutely. You know, I always tell people like it wasn't until I started eating more whole foods that I really learned that I could feel better, that I noticed my energy was increasing, right? As a busy entrepreneur, I just thought that came with the territory, that we were just as entrepreneurs supposed to be tired and work all the time and get home from work or shut our computers down. Cause obviously I work from home, I travel full time, shut our computers down. And we were supposed to sit in the couch coma or get takeout because we're making all this money. So takeout's affordable, right? But that doesn't have to be you. You know, plant-based eating can be extremely, extremely convenient when you think about the fact that Mother Nature literally wraps the most effective foods for our performance in easy to go, you know, convenient wrappers,
No
right?
containers that you just unwrap.
Bananas, oranges, apples don't even have a peel. Like, I mean, they do, but you can eat the peel, right? So really thinking about how you can leverage food to fuel your body. And then if you think about the other foods that are fairly easy, you can pre-cook potatoes. Don't come at me with carbs yet. You can pre-cook potatoes. You can pre-cook quinoa. All of that can be just a simple small scoop to your light salad lunch.
So there's loaded with planning that needs to go into it.
Yeah, but it's planning like that can be done.
Habit. Yeah, you just have to make it a priority.
Exactly. And one of the things I teach to my clients is we time block in those plans. You don't run your business without a plan. You're sitting here right now looking at 2022, your goals, your plan for the year. You do the same thing with food, but we don't. We just fly by it, fly by the seat of our pants with food, and we just hope for the results. And that's not the reality. With a little bit of time blocking, a little bit of pieces of fitting it into your life, you can make it easier. And I'm not telling you to give things up. I'm telling you to add those foods that increase energy, that increase productivity. There's studies out there that show eating 4 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, berries for breakfast, fruits for a snack, salad at lunch and dinner, vegetable side dishes at lunch and dinner, can increase your productivity up to 25%. If you are an entrepreneur right now and your productivity, what you produce as an entrepreneur, increased 25%, would you be closer to your goals? What if that was simply adding in foods that you can buy, fruits and vegetables that are mostly prepared for you? Do you see how easy that shift can be? But we don't know that. We don't look at it from that perspective. And it's easy to fit those in when you start to be aware of where you're eating those processed foods. And Rayanna, you brought up a good point. Processed foods loaded with salt, sugar, oil, taking the nutrients out of and refining the grains down to nothing. We think we're grabbing a good snack because it says whole grain, but it started as a whole grain, but the manufacturer milled that junk down to where it was not even nutrient dense, and you're eating just a sugary bar, right? You'd be better off eating trail mix with no added salts and sugars. Like, really thinking about just these simple switches can change the way you show up. And isn't that the whole point, Rayanna, right? You're a business coach. You want your clients, you want fellow entrepreneurs to show up,
Right.
to show up with the energy, with the passion.
Something you share, sometimes people think they're eating healthy when they're not. Like, do you notice that Kathy isn't getting up on a soapbox to try and convert anyone like a zealot to becoming vegan or vegetarian? She's not saying that at all. What she is saying is, if you eat more whole foods, you will start to notice a difference and feel better. I know vegetarians and vegans that are not healthy at all because all they eat is processed carbs and processed food. It may be organic and it may be with almond flour or whatever, but it's still dead food. It's been processed. You want food that's alive, that when you can see it rot, it's real. And so, if something has a long shelf life, it's shortening your life. If it has a short shelf life, it's lengthening your life. You're eating that life. You're eating life when you eat live whole foods. Anyway, commercial
I love
break.
this.
Go ahead.
I absolutely love that. And, it's funny because as somebody who's been vegan and lived in the vegan world, that's what I saw. The only way that you could get a coach that was focused on the whole plant foods, really leveraging the power of these whole clean plant foods,
is raw.
If you had somebody that was only going to work with you if you went raw, or if you had a vegan coach that was only going to work with you if you went vegan. And I found that that's really a major gap.
It's too extreme, and then it turns people off because we all react to extremes, or it's got to be all this or all that, and otherwise, no. And so I think that's what's really great about your approach is you're not saying be a vegan, be a vegetarian, go raw. You're saying, look, if you just eat more whole foods, meaning live foods, things that have grown in nature, you'll feel better. It's about making some lifestyle choices. It doesn't mean you've got to give up your potato chips forever. It just means eat more whole potatoes instead.
Absolutely. And you bring up a really good point. So people often say to me, well, as a whole food plant-based eater, are you never going to eat at a restaurant? And I'm like, oh, now wait a minute. I'm a full-time traveler. I love supporting local plant-based restaurants or restaurants with plant-based options. I love having a piece of vegan chocolate cake on my birthday. Like, I am not perfect, but I am intentional. And if there's one thing you take away from this is eat more of the foods that make you feel better intentionally day in and day out so that you can really, I mean, this is all about showing up at optimum performance. An athlete trains for the Olympics differently than a hobbyist trains to go walk around the neighborhood. As somebody who's an entrepreneur, you want to be the best in your industry. You want to
And
be
you
the
bring,
best for your
yeah,
business.
you bring up a good point too, Kathy, is you don't have to give up things that you want. It's not all or nothing. Okay. So, like she's saying, she likes to go out to eat. And in this day and age, with so many people being more conscientious about organic, gluten-free, not GMO, all of that, it's very easy. Like me, I have a very restrictive diet because I have Hashimoto's and a lot of inflammation. And so I have an autoimmune disease. So I'm forced to eat paleo. So I don't do dairy, I don't do alcohol, I don't do sugar, I don't do grains, I don't do caffeine. I basically eat meats, fruits, and vegetables. And but does that mean I don't ever? It's a lifestyle choice and I'm committed to it. However, I the other day had I'm grain free, but I wanted some kind of a little breakfast sandwich, and I went into a place that had gluten-free options, and it was rice. It was a rice-based bread. And I said, you know what? I'm okay with rice because it's not a grain that bothers me and a little bit. And it came with a little bag of chips. I don't eat potatoes. I don't eat starchy carbs. They cause too much inflammation. But I ate them. It was a tiny bag because I thought, I don't want to feel like I'm being deprived, like I never, and I found options. I love pizza. I found grain-free crusts made out of almond flour. Then I put all the ingredients on it. And it's like the best pizza I've ever had, what I make. So carrot cake, gluten-free, sugar-free. I have a housemate that loves baking and she bakes everything with almond flour and monk fruit. So we're not eating sugar, we're not eating grains, we're eating a healthy alternative. So you don't have to be deprived. But like Kathy said, she makes very deliberate, conscious choices. And you do have to look around. It's not just me diving into a pizza, any old pizza, then I'm a wreck for the next week. My body is aching. But it's finding alternatives so you don't feel deprived.
Absolutely. And it's also looking at it from when you're eating it, right? So I always tell people, like, I have 3 tips that really, you can start to follow right away. Start your day with a whole grain or whole food breakfast with fruit. I love oats. I love quinoa. I love potatoes. And then I'll put in maybe some banana or blueberries or strawberries.
So why
And
fruit in the morning?
because it packs in some good energy, and it's a simple sugar, so it adds a sweetener, but you don't have to use a sweetener. And that's the one big thing. Sugar is extremely addictive and extremely inflammatory. I mean, I have clients right now. I have one that has a medical issue, and she actually reversed a lot of the signs of her RA because of her reduction in sugar and because of her reduction in gluten. And we work together for me to provide the tools, the strategies, the foods, the recipes that she can follow to meet the goals that she has.
So, but this is a great thing that you're pointing out because I noticed it for my body. I wasn't a big fruit eater. I ate more vegetables than fruits. And then when I realized I wasn't going to be eating grains or carbs or even starchy carbs, not even sweet potatoes, I thought, well, I need sugar from something. And I found certain fruits I experimented that did real well. The reason fruits are a good sugar, even though they're a simple sugar, is that they have a lot of fiber in them. So they don't spike your um, glycemic index. So the fiber is slowing down your body processing that sugar, and it's also cleaning you out. So what's so great about what Kathy's saying for like breakfast, because I'm reading Jessica Black's book, The Anti-Inflammatory Diet, right now, and I was looking through some of the recipes, and she has this smoothie, and it's just berries and coconut cream, and and then I'll put a little pea protein in there. It's cleaning you out and giving you energy. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, to give you energy and clean everything out. So could you talk a little bit about that, the glycemic index and the energy, but also the detoxing of foods?
Absolutely. So when these foods are in your gut and in your microbiome, what's happening is you're not pushing, but it's pulling the nutrients from the foods without creating a blood sugar spike. So the lower glycemic foods don't create that blood sugar spike and then that crash. And that's what happens a lot of times. People will eat these high sugary breakfasts, or they'll skip breakfast altogether.
Frappuccinos and lattes and macchiatos from Starbucks.
They're high sugar coffees that are creating the sugar crash halfway through the morning. And they're like, oh, I can't function. Now I need to go get a big lunch, or they work through lunch. And so what happens with that case is, like, you haven't fueled your body. Just like a car, you put premium fuel in there, you fuel your car. If you're not fueling your body, you're not getting the results that you want. And then as far as like the detoxification and like the fiber pulling all the toxins and everything out, it allows you to stay regular. And I know nobody wants to get on Facebook and talk about that, but
you poop often and it's good for you. I'll say it.
In order to not feel bloated and disgusting, again, showing up at your peak performance, you've got to get that food moving through your body. You get up, you walk, you eat your breakfast, you sit down at your computer, and now you're sedentary for the rest of the day. So then my tip number 2 brings us right into that, eating a more whole food lunch, not just a salad, but pairing your whole foods with a salad allows you to have that energy, that power. The high water content of fruit and vegetables really keeps you hydrated, so your skin looks better, right? We want to show up and look good and feel good. Building, like, I love to say, loaded salads. So I love like rainbow bowls. So greens, lots of veggies, maybe some beets, maybe some high antioxidant red cabbage, tomatoes, great in lycopene, which is a cancer fighting property, beans. I always add beans to my lunch because I want that pack of protein, and then some kind of satiating food. So it's going to be something like grains, potatoes, an unrefined, so you're not pulling out processed pasta and all that processed junk, the frozen dinners that you get that are super high in sodium that also makes you bloat and also makes you, all that salt inflames all your joints, makes you feel like crap. Oftentimes people will get like headaches and, mind fog for the rest of the day. So really energizing and colorful loaded bowls or salads, and then using a whole ingredient sauces, cashews, maple mustard, avoiding those highly refined, highly oily and sugary. So one of the big things that I find is a lot of store-bought dressings have added sugar because they want you coming back for more with that ranch dressing that has sugar that doesn't need sugar. And they want you coming back for more on that raspberry vinaigrette, that raspberries are sweet, but they throw sugar in it because it's addictive. They want you to add more. And so, thinking about ways that you can make whole food dressings, vinegars, tahini, avocado mashed with lime juice, like really leaning into, again, those more whole nature intended foods versus those highly processed, fat extracted, highly sugar, high oil, high salt, and really eating the whole food for lunch. And what I find is people will be like, oh, well, I skip lunch. I work through lunch. And I'm like, no,
That's
no,
terrible for your blood sugar.
you gotta put yourself first if you want to
Fuel,
show up with performance. You got to
energy.
take care of yourself, energy, high performance, peak performance. Rayanna said it perfectly, like showing up so that you can fulfill your mission in the world.
Yeah, so pause there for a minute, Kathy. I want to go back because we've had a couple people join us, and I don't think we really got into it enough. Talk about what motivated you to get on this path. Like, what happened? Where were you at? Was it pain? Was it weight? Talk about how your journey got you here and so passionate about whole foods and how to use them to fuel your body.
Absolutely. So, as I said earlier, so I've been vegan for 7.5 years. And about 2 years ago, I'd stepped on the scale to weigh one of our cats. We travel with cats, and there's one right next to me who might make an appearance momentarily. And I was weighing them to get their medication. And I know that's irrelevant, but that's where the story started. And I stepped on the scale and I was at my highest weight ever. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that I felt like crap for the weeks and months leading up to that, but I was enjoying all the vegan food and all the vegan processed food. And I was, I cook for myself and I eat this and I eat tofu and I eat all this stuff. And what I started to find was that the processed foods were really affecting my health. So I was overweight. I was tired all the time. I didn't want to get up and get on camera. I didn't want to film recipe videos.
Vegan eating healthy.
Yep. I ate a ton of vegan processed foods and I love them. They're awesome for transitioning people, but from a long-term everyday habit sustainability, eat the whole foods, just eat the whole foods. So I made a commitment December 1st of 2019. So just over 2 years ago from when we filmed this, that I was going to clean up my vegan diet. I was going to focus day in and day out on healthy, whole plant foods, mostly unprocessed. In 6 months, I lost 40 pounds. I had the energy to show up socially on social media. I had the energy to show up for my business. I had the energy to do the things I needed to do. And guess what? That's when my book deal got signed. So my first book deal happened within 6 months of me changing the way I showed up because I had the energy to do so. And then right after that, I had two more book deals. And, it's really important for you to think about the long-term gain. You did not hear me say, I set out on a goal to lose weight. And then once I hit that goal, I was going to just quit eating and go back to my old habits. It was a full-on mindset and paradigm shift on becoming the woman who could stand in front of food and pick the healthy choice happily and without feeling restricted. And day in and day out, that's what I do. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. It just means that I know the person that I want to be and the person that I'm showing up as, and I know the results. And, I've done all the studying. I've read everything from plant-based doctors. I know that I could find a study to support whatever you want to do. You want to put butter in your coffee? We can find a study. You want to drink a bottle of wine every day? We can find a study.
Yeah, we can all justify our choices and actions.
Absolutely. But if you want to show up with productivity, 25% more, eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more unprocessed foods, eat more whole foods. And you know what? If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your clients so that you can show up for them. Because that's why we started our business.
Talk about the transformation that you provide your clients. Like, talk about that little bit of a journey. We have about 10 more minutes. Talk about like who comes to you for help and what is the journey you take them on and where is the end destination they're hoping to get to?
Absolutely. So I work with high achievers who want to make a change. They're ready to leverage the power of food. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I want that energy. I want to eat more plants and leverage the power of food. You're my person. And it's a very high touch 12-month accountability pathway. We start where you are. So if you're like, I'm still full on meat and potatoes and I ate turkey at Thanksgiving and I'm eating ham at Christmas, that's fine. Because I'm here to start where you are. Because remember, I was there 8 years ago. I was still eating turkey and ham
And your mission
cheese and all
isn't
the
to
things.
convert people to being vegans.
Correct. My mission is to empower you to have the day in and day out habits that support the energy you need to run a successful and impactful business. So I work with my clients.
Or there was someone that messaged me today that said, oh, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't have a business. So I won't be on the talk or something. And so this isn't just, her niche is to help like people like you and me, entrepreneurs who need,
or professionals.
right. But if you're just like a busy mom, or you're not an entrepreneur or business owner, this applies to you too. She'll work with anyone who is wanting to make a change to have more energy and feel healthier. And she meets you where you're at. She's not there to convert you or judge you or change who you are. She's just trying to help you get what she got. She just noticed, wow, I thought I was eating healthy. She gets on the scale, realizes she's heavy, she's tired, she doesn't feel good. And she just went, I don't want to feel like this anymore. So if you're at a place, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, ladies, where you just don't want to keep feeling the way you're feeling, you might want to reach out to Kathy in the comments. Kathy will give her contact information in the comments when we're done. You'll just find the post, Kath, and you'll put your comments in there and reach out to her. She's not a hard sell. She's here to make you feel better about yourself and have more energy. Continue, Kath. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So when I work with my clients, and right now I actually have retirees in my program, they want more energy to run around with their grandkids. Like, you don't have to be high achieving in that you're currently running a business or currently working as a professional. You just want more. You feel like you're doing it all, but you could be doing it all just a little bit better with a little more energy, a little more productivity, and honestly, learning how to fit more plants into your life. And that's what I help you do. So I have a group coaching program that allows you to see the strategies and tools that I use, the systems that I use, the foods and recipes. Again, I'm a 3-time cookbook author, so I have recipes coming out that to help you on your journey. And one of the big things that sets me apart is that I don't sell you a one-size-fits-all meal plan. I actually work with you so that you can learn how to implement it in your life so that you can take action beyond the program, right? Because we all know the diet industry is a billion-dollar industry that does nothing to support you long-term except cycle you back in.
So let me interject, Kath. So what she's doing, so you're not overwhelmed, is she's helping you make small incremental lifestyle choices and changes so that it's actually doable. It can be overwhelming to think, wow, I need to lose 40 pounds and feel kind of stuck in your habits. And, oh, here's a funny thing Zoom does. It does it with my eyebrows. Does it do it to yours? No, I don't know what it is about my eyebrows. It does that. Anyway, she's showing you and guiding you along on how to make that transition. It can be, you can feel hopeless or overwhelmed when you see where you want to be and you see how far away from that you are. And it's hard. The change is hardest at the beginning of the journey. And it's about making little choices, making a commitment to some small choice, and then getting some momentum with that. And then that builds your confidence, because I coach people on habits. And once you get a little momentum with that, it kind of boosts your confidence. You're like, oh, if I can do that, I can do something else. Do you find that to be the case?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I don't do is I don't have you go into the kitchen and pull out everything that doesn't meet what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you how to add more, how to make choices to add more, how to set up that habit, how to reframe the way that you think about it, because we all know that habit change is it can be a challenge. And so to have somebody running that accountability pathway with you, running these changes with you, popping into your messages. I have a client that, she takes clients out and eats out frequently and is like, I need help with the menu. So we actually sit together and I do like a what would Kathy do at
You
this
make
restaurant.
it work for that person. You customize.
Very customizable, very high touch, very white glove service. Once we run this pathway, we're in each other's messages, we're in each other's text messages, we're involved because food is part of life. And in order for me to really understand it, I need to know what your family doesn't like to eat. If your family doesn't like chickpeas, then by golly, we're not sending over chickpea recipes. Or if we are, we're going to talk about ways to modify that. So it's very customized and very, the transformation is stuck and overwhelmed to an intuitive way of eating more plants so that it's just natural and easy and you just know what you're doing.
Yeah. Now, if you had a rooftop message, advice that you could give the whole world that they would heed and take action on, that thing that if you could just get people to get it and how important it is, what would that message be for you, Kathy?
Yeah. My rooftop message is to eat more plants, eat more whole, clean, plant-based foods. I'm not talking about the freezer plant-based foods. I'm talking about produce section, unrefined grains and carbs, not processed veggie burgers. I'm talking about bean burgers. I'm talking about fruits, vegetables, frozen or fresh. Lean into the whole foods. And then right on top of that, as I'm screaming, eat more plants, I'm also screaming, take care of yourself. There is no point in working your butt off to never enjoy the fruits of your labor because you're sick later on. We don't work so that money can sit in an account.
Yeah, you're pushing too hard and grinding. And I mean, I coach a lot on this with my clients that I'm coaching in their business. Look, you're not working, you're not living to work, you're working to live. Don't forget about the live part. This isn't about being a taskmaster and cracking a whip on yourself. It's about actually taking care of yourself and honoring yourself and being good to yourself and taking good care of yourself. Love this.
Prioritizing that self-care, that everybody says, all the top producers, all the big gurus, all the business successes, they all say to eat healthy and focus on nutrition. And so if you're not doing that, if that's a key that they're doing, maybe it's time to take a step back and make 2022 your year to take control of your health and wellness.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It could be a slow and steady journey of just a choice here and there that you make. That can be very rewarding. And those kinds of choices stick better than all or nothing. And going to extremes and trying to rush the results. Slow and steady holds the course and gets it. The small, simple actions and choices have a cumulative effect over time that's actually surprising and ends up getting you massive results.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So any last minute things you want to say and before we wrap up, Kathy? This has been great. It just reiterates a lot of choices I've made in my life out of necessity because of health challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate your approach. You're passionate about it, but you're not a zealot. You're not saying everyone needs to live like I do. And that your real message here is food is fuel. And
Absolutely.
To start looking at food as fuel for your body, to honor your body. I love that.
Thank you. So the last thing I wanted to mention too, I gave the first tip on a whole grain and fruit breakfast, and the second tip on those like loaded veggie and whole grain foods. And again, the whole grain and the starch at lunchtime really is that sustained energy. Tip number 3 is swap out processed snacks for whole snacks. nuts and seeds, dried fruit, fresh fruit. Fresh fruit's better because you eat less of it. So it's less calorically dense. And like, think about veggies and hummus, like think about ways that you can eat the
Baby
whole food.
carrots, and then just dipping, like Trader Joe's has all these great healthy dips like garlic spread dip and Zog dips and things that are healthy. And that'll be a meal for me. I'll get some baby carrots and I'll just dip it in some dips like hummus and stuff. And it's all healthy, and it feels like you're snacking on something yummy.
Right. And that's the thing, like really starting to trade those out. So that would be my last real big thing. But if this interests you at all and you just want to be in the space of this kind of inspiration, I do invite you to connect with me. As Rayanna said, I'm not a hard sell. Like, I want to work with people who want to make change. So you can hang out and watch my live shows. I have a Facebook group too. You can connect with me. You can follow me. I mean, anything that you need to support you, even if it's just recipes, reach out, connect.
Yeah, she's published 3 cookbooks, Kat.
3 cookbooks.
She works with people one-on-one. She has a group program. She's got a Facebook group. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing commitment. If you're just curious and you'd like to be in her orbit a little more, Kat's going to put her contact information, your Facebook group, and whatever other contact information you feel comfortable giving people, if it's your email or whatever. And feel free to reach out to her. She's walking her talk. She had extra weight, low energy, tired, and she was fully vegan and realized she was eating too much processed food and started to make some choices that dropped 40 pounds, gave her loads of energy, and she realized she was onto something. And that's what she wants to do for you. So I'm Rayanna Starr, and my guest speaker is Kathy Allen Davis. And what she does is she helps you use food as fuel to energize your life and your business. So connect with Kathy. I'm so glad you could make it and that we connected, Kathy. It's just been a pleasure to learn from you, connect with you. Please be a regular contributor in the group. What I want to invite you to do from now on, even though you have your group, is promote your group, but also, ladies, this goes for everybody. If you want more visibility and generate leads, give before you get. The best way you can do that is posting consistently, either on your personal or business page or in your group or in our group, educational content or valuable content that contributes something to people. So Kathy, you might start writing posts about just different foods and why they're good for you, or what the best, share some recipes, or talk about how some foods are very inflammatory and what inflammation does to the body. So you have a lot of places you could go to position yourself as an expert in the group by getting on a regular kind of posting type of schedule that gives value in the group. This is the best way for you to market your business, any of you. Position yourself as an expert. If you're wandering around, lost on social media and don't really know how to leverage it, start there. Start posting content that helps people and shows them that you could help them with that problem. So I'm Rayanna Starr. This is Kathy Allen Davis. It's been such a pleasure to be with everybody today. Please let us know if you were live or replay. Kathy, keep checking this post throughout the next week or two to just keep up with the engagement of people. And I just really look forward to more encounters with you and learning more from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rayanna. And thank you to those of you watching. I do see you, Rose. Thank you for tuning in live. I know that we had Marcia. We had a couple other people.
Yeah, Rachel,
Carrie. So
Marcia,
thank
Angela,
you.
Lottie, Kim. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had
so thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And honestly, y'all, it's really about just showing up. And I'm excited to share more with you. Rayanna, thank you so much for the invitation to, share some knowledge with all of you and really help you make your energy and your health and wellness a priority in 2022. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm excited to connect with all of you, and I'll see you later.
Bye, everybody.